Day, everyone, and a happy new catalog launch. It's our new mini catalog. I call it the Holiday Catalog 2025, and it just launched this week, and I'm so excited to share with you one of the brand new sets in there, one of my favorites. It's so cute, the Gingerbread Man set. We are going to make a fun fold today using that set. So if you need one of these new mini catalogs and you'd love me to be your demonstrator, well, I would absolutely appreciate that, and I would love to send you one of these in the mail. So on my blog, on my website, there is a link on the right hand side, and you can request your free copy of our new mini catalog. So I'll be happy to send that your way. Well, let's get started. Let me show you this super cute gingerbread set and the fun folds that we're gonna make today. Okay, so here is this super cute gingerbread set. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, how darling. So there is these awesome gingerbread stamps. Of course, our gingerbread. Some really cute sentiments. Oh snap, because we can actually use the dies. We can snap off one of his arms or legs like we took a bite, right? And we can use oh snap. We've got baking spirit Sprite, sugar and spice and everything nice, and seasons eatings. How cute, right? You've got all these great faces and a couple of extra stamps as well. Then we have these awesome dies. So there is a thought word bubble, so you can put some of these different sentiments inside of there. There is, of course, some super cute candy, and I have some die cuts to show you in a bit. And there is this awesome gingerbread die. And so what is so cool about that die is, look, it actually die cuts two together with a score line in the middle. So you can fold this in half, and this can actually become a tag. It could be a super cute card by itself, right? It's like its own little card. We can punch a hole in it, and it could be a cute tag that we hung, and we could have to and from inside. I mean, there are so many possibilities with this. The other fun thing I was thinking is, since it sort of looks like paper dolls, right? We could do a bunch of them together, and wouldn't that be a really cute banner? You could have some holiday decor. It could be for a party. I mean, so many cute things. And then, of course, you can take your snips, which is what we're going to do today. You can cut along that score line. So now you have two gingerbread, and you could round those corners if you wanted. I mean, there's so many things that you could do with that. But you would have two now ginger people, right? But if you turned it upside down, you could actually stamp the face this way. These would become antlers, and you would have a ginger moose. Wouldn't that be just darling? So there are so many possibilities with this super cute set. So let me show you today's card. We're gonna make this super cute baking spirit Sprite. We've got our little ginger girl here, who is just so cute. And then we open it up, and it's a fun fold because we have this W fun fold. W because it kind of makes a W from the side, right? But then we've got all of this beautiful pop-up that is inside. So that's what we're going to create today. So let me move all this to the side. I have a lot of tips to share with you. And so the first one, let's make our card base. So we've got our trimmer here. We're just going to cut this down the middle on the short side. So we've got this 11 by 4 1/4 piece here. We're going to score it just like a normal card base at 5 1/2. And there we have our card base. So when you cut your paper this way, you actually are going to get two card bases from that one sheet. And this one happens to open, we're going to open it up this way. You could also use it this way if you wanted it to open more like a book. This way opens from the top. So that is the first step. One thing I want to remind you is that if you need any of the measurements, the supply list of all the goodies I'm going to be using today, I always love to provide that for you for free. And so if you are part of my Buzz Bulletin, which is my email list, you can subscribe to that for free on my blog at stampingqueenbee.com. And I actually email out every single week the instructions. It's a free printable PDF tutorial that you can print out. It's got the supply list, it's got all the measurements, a picture of each week's card, and of course the step-by-step instructions. So I wanted to make sure and remind you of that. My blog is also where you can sign up to get a free catalog from me if you'd love me to be your demonstrator. And then one other quick reminder, each week I do a freebie from me. So when you order from me this week, meaning starting today through next Wednesday at midnight, when you order $50 or more from my online store, before tax and shipping and after any rewards, you're going to get a freebie from me, which is this week's card kit. It'll include all the pre-cut card pieces to make 3 of the card that we're making today. It's totally free from me, and I just love to send that out to you. Okay, so I think I shared all the announcements that I was supposed to. So let me move this out of the way. We've got our card base there, and let's kind of do the bones, the mechanism of our card first. So we're going to use some Designer Series paper, and I actually am going to use this beautiful paper. This is the Marbled Elegance paper, and I don't know about you, but this sure looks like frosting to me. Doesn't it just look like yummy, beautiful frosting? So we're going to use a couple of these. This is a couple packs here, but I just love this paper. It's got some really rich reds in it. It's got some golds. It's got some beautiful hot pinks in there and white. And I don't know, it just looks like yummy frosting to me. So that is what we're going to use today. So I've already pre-cut a few of those pieces for us. So we've got 2 of these kind of pink marbled pieces. And then we have 1 of these striped pieces. So we're just going to use our liquid glue here. And we're going to attach this striped piece to the front first. So we're just adding our liquid glue, and we're just going to add this right to the front of our card. And I don't think I burnished that because it's looking a little off center to me. So let's just do that right now. Burnishing really, really helps. So that's just my bone folder. And it really helps everything to lay flat, but it also helps everything to, for me anyway, it helps me to get things straight. So we're just going to put that on the outside. We're going to open this up, and we're going to put 1 of each of these marbled frosting, we'll call it, frosting pieces on the inside of our card. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. And the cardstock I'm using here is our new Strawberry Slush. It's one of my favorites, in case I forgot to say that earlier, but it is one of my favorites. All right, so we've got that all adhered. Now let's make our mechanism for the inside of our card. So I'm going to bring back our paper trimmer here, and I have a strip of Real Red. This is 11 inches by 1 inch, and we're just going to do some scoring. So let me open up the arm of my trimmer here. Did you know it opens up so you can measure about 17¼ inches long, which is so nice, right? Especially when we're doing some bigger projects. So we're going to go ahead and score this 3 times. So we're going to score it at 2 3/4, at 5 1/2. And remember, you don't need to write all this down because it will be in my free tutorial. And then 8 1/4. And so I just have those 3 score lines on there. Let me get close so you can see them. There we go. And now my mechanism is done for our card inside. So we want this to fold like a W. So in order to do that, we're just going to go ahead and fold this up. And you see I've got my little W there, right? So from the side, it looks like a W. So once I have that folded, Then I am just going to add some liquid glue to the top piece. And we're just gonna kind of find the center of our card. You could measure it out if you want to, but we're just gonna glue that top piece down. So far, that's all we've done. Then we're gonna take our bottom piece and we're just gonna stretch this out, because what we're gonna want to do, so I'm just holding it there, we want that to look like a little pop-up, right? And so we're just gonna add a little more liquid glue to that bottom piece. So we've only put glue on the top and now on the bottom. So I'm just gonna straighten this up all the way to the bottom and line it up with the bottom there, and then let that adhere. So now we've got our mechanism. You can see we've got our W, and that is really the bones of our card. So we've got our pop-up, and now we just get to decorate. So before we do any of the decorating on here, let's put this to the side and let's do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of basic white here. I've got my strawberry slush ink, and I've got my Baking Spirits Bright sentiment. There we go. And we're just going to ink this up. And on my scrap paper, we're just going to stamp that down. So we've got Baking Spirits Bright. I'm going to bring in some squares here, because these are going to be the pieces for the inside of our card. So we've got 4 basic white squares. So these are going to be our inside kind of pieces. So this one will be where we can write a message, and then of course we've got these other fun pieces there. So we're gonna do Seasons Eatings. Seasons Eatings, isn't that cute? So we're gonna ink this up in our strawberry slush, and we're just gonna stamp this kind of the center top of one of our squares. So we've got Seasons Eatings. Okay, and then we've got these kind of speckles, we'll call them. And so we're going to take 2 of these, and we can use a scrap paper here because we're going to go off a little bit. And we're just going to ink these speckles up, and we're going to stamp them all over 2 of our cute squares here. So we just kind of want that covered. So there's one. Let's do our second one here. You can just kind of turn your stamp. We're just kind of filling in, kind of creating our own little DSP here, right? Our own little background. And maybe one more. Okay, so we've got those. And now we're going to switch inks. And we're going to go to Real Red. So Real Red. And let's close up our strawberry slush here. And on these 2, we're going to use this little curly Q. I think that is just so darling. So we're going to stamp one of these just kind of at the bottom of the Seasons Eatings. And then we're going to do 2 of these just to create a little fun border, like a little edge design, we'll call it, on the one that we will be writing on. So we are done with our Real Red. And our 4 pieces are done. So now we've got some strawberry slush squares that are just slightly bigger. And so we're just going to go ahead and adhere all of these that we just stamped onto the center of these squares. So this is a simple to put together card with lots of fun pieces. We're just layering these all up, and adding them to our strawberry slush here. 2 more. And I have some fun ginger tips for you when we get to we're making a ginger girl today. And there are so many fun dies in this set. You can make a hat, you can make some different fun candies and candy canes, lollipops, and oh, the possibilities are endless, right? I was having so much fun making gingers that I have a few extra examples for you today to just show you at the end how versatile this set is. It's so cute. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our squares right to the center of each of these little panels. So our top one is going to be one of those fun speckles. So I'm just holding that down. Then our second one is going to be that Season's Eatings. So I'm just adding my adhesive to this kind of mechanism here that we created. We don't want to put it all over the square because we don't want it to stick, right? We want this to be able to pop up. So we're just adding our adhesive to this part here. So just a little bit. You don't even need a lot. And we'll add another one of those speckles. Oh, it's so cute already, right? We haven't even done our ginger guy. Okay, and then you can put this one on the last one here, and this would be where you write your message. So you can go ahead and attach this before you write your message or after. It's going to be flat, so you'll be able to write on it. Okay, and then we'll just set our sentiment aside here for now. And let's do the inside, our other pieces. So with those die cuts, let me bring this back. With those die cuts, we have some fun little images. And so you can see here on the dies that there is this lollipop. So I went ahead and die cut our lollipop. So I die cut it out of white. So that's this one here. This is just one die and it creates those 3 pieces. And then I went ahead and die cut it again using real red. So we've got basic white and a real red. And what's so fun about this die here is we can actually create 2 of them with one. Well, we can switch those 2 and we can switch those 2. And look, you could create 2 lollipops that way. You could take those off and you could flip-flop them and create 2 lollipops that way. That's how we're actually going to do it today, but either of those pieces will work. So I'm going to go ahead and save those for my next project, and we're just going to go ahead and just a little dot of adhesive. You could use your adhesive sheets as well. Just one little dot in each of those little points, and we'll set this in the middle here. And we've got our cute little lollipop. And we can do the same thing with our white piece here. And just a little dot of, ooh, that was a big dot. Just a little dot of glue on each of those. And right in the center there. There we go. I think this one got a little bent. There we go. So now you see we've got 2 fun lollies with cutting it out of once with white and once with real red. And we could do the same thing with our fun candy canes. So we've got where I cut it out of real red and where I cut it out of basic white. Now this is one die, which is so fun. So this is one die that cuts out both sides. So if you cut it out once with red and once with white, you can do like we just did and flip-flop them and go ahead and add our adhesive. Again, just little bit on each little stripe here. And you could use your adhesive sheets again or just a little dot of glue. And then I just line that up and I just kind of pick it up This is one good thing about using the liquid glue is we've got that wiggle room, right, to get that on perfectly. There we go. And that will dry clear, so we'll let that aside for a second while we do our red on top of our white. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue to those stripes again. See what I mean? It's sort of like paper dolls because you get to create all of these fun pieces with the dies and put together all these different cute variations, right? Okay, so just lining that up again. We've got our wiggle room with our liquid glue, and now we have our fun pieces. So I think we're going to use the red ones for these, and I'll just save these two for my next project. And I'll go ahead and put that to the side. And you can add these with dimensionals, or you can add them with just liquid glue, which is what I'm going to do because when we fold this up, we don't want it to be too thick. So I'm just adding some of that liquid glue here. I want this to still be mailable, right? There we go. And then we'll add to our cute lollipop here. And our inside is almost done. There we go. Aren't those just cute? I think they're adorable. So then we have our real red and white twine. And I'm just gonna tie a fun double bow here, just a real small one. And we're just tying it like I'm tying my shoelaces, and I'm just using a doubled up string so that we get 2 loops at one time. There we go, and we can just adjust to these as needed. Just gonna snip off those edges there. And where did my book go? Oh, there it went. Jumped out of my hands. So this is just gonna go right at the base of our lollipop. I thought that was just so cute. So I'm just going to grab a mini glue dot. Here's my mini glue dot. And I personally like to tear it off of the roll when I am needing one of those. And we're just gonna take the knot of our bow, take the knot and put it right on that mini glue dot. So then it's stuck on there, right? So you could do these ahead if you were making a whole bunch of them and have them ready. And then all you have to do is peel off the back of that paper. And if there's any of that glue dot that is showing over here, you're just gonna kind of roll it. So you're just gonna kind of fold it back. And then we're just gonna stick that right to our lollipop. Isn't that cute? So cute. Okay, and then let's do a little bit of embellishments while we have it here. So these are our peppermints. Our peppermints, these were one of my favorites last year. I'm so glad that they kept them and brought them back for this year so that we could use them. So I'm going to use some of these big ones here, and I'm just going to go left and then right, left and then right of each of my squares to just give us a little bit of extra there. I'm going to take one of our medium ones here and stick it right in the center of that lollipop. And that is the inside of our card is done. And that's just so fun. I love this kind of fun pop-up. It makes it real wowy for the recipient. Now let's work on the front of our card. So with that sentiment that we stamped earlier, I'm actually going to fussy cut this. So to save us a little bit of time, I went ahead and did that for us. So once that dries, you can just fussy cut each of those words separately so that we can put those on our card. Then I already pre-die cut this cute little bow. So we're gonna put this together. So this is from our dies. This die here cuts out all 3 pieces of our fun bow that we are gonna put on our cute ginger girl. So to put this together, we're just gonna add a little dot on this kind of the tail ends piece there. And we're gonna add our bow to the front of that. And then we'll add a little dot right in the center there. And our little teeny knot of our tied bow, we will just go ahead and put in the center. So I actually die cut this ahead using that same Marbled Elegance paper. Isn't that just so cute? So it makes for a really fun bow. And then let me pull in our example. So we need to do our ginger. So I'm going to bring in a ginger piece that I already cut. This is out of pecan pie. And so we're going to work on that. But do you notice this super cute silver baking sheet that our ginger is on? Well, I actually die cut that using our silver foil. And I brought in another die set. This one is called Sentimental Framing. And so it has this great big die here. And if we were to die cut that out of a piece of that silver foil, we're actually going to get these two pieces. And so we could use this as well, but I just wanted to use that inside piece to create a fun little baking sheet. So Sentimental Framing for the win to create our baking sheet out of that silver foil. Okay, so I'll put that to the side, and you can just save this piece for your next project. And okay, I showed you all that. Well, let's get our baking sheet on here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my liquid glue right to the back of here. Now, because this is foil, when it dries, it will actually show that design kind of through the foil. So if you use the back end of your glue, did you know that came off? This will actually give you a lot of glue at once if you need it. But do you see this kind of slanted end? So if you don't use it for glue, you can actually use it to spread out your glue. If you ever get too big of a blob or just don't want to see those streaks, you can just smooth it out with that end. Make sure you put that cap back on, and then we'll just add our cute baking pan at an angle here right to our card front. So now we've got our silver foil baking pan. Okay, so now it's time for our ginger, to create our ginger. And so let me just move all of this to the side. We've got our big block here with our gingerbread stamp. So it's this stamp here that we have already on our block. And I'm going to use some pecan pie to ink this up. So let me move all that. And because this is such a large stamp, you could use a stamp positioning tool, or I just like to ink it up on its back. So I'm not holding it and trying to dip it into the ink. I'm just going to take that, and then I just lift it from the sides, and I kind of go over the front and just kind of hold it there to make sure it's where, oh, my ginger moved. Just kind of hold it where I think it's centered, and just stamp that down. There we go. And we have our cute ginger stamp, right? Oh, it's just adorable. So for this one, I mean, we could totally use this, stamp both sides or stamp one side and just create two. I'm just going to use my paper snips here and snip right on that score line. So yes, it does snip a little bit of it off, but it's okay. You could round that out if you wanted to do that. For today's card, we're actually, once we put this on, we're going to put this all the way over to the edge, so it just looks like it's the edge of the card. So it blends in beautifully with that. Let me bring in my scrap paper here, because we're going to give a little detail to our ginger girl here. So we've got pecan pie, and I actually have my pecan pie sponge dauber, and so I love sponge daubers. I use them lots, and so I have one for each color, and I just go ahead and label those so that I always know which color goes with what. They're a great deal of value, so for me, having one of each one is a-okay. So I'm just gonna go along the edge here. So I really want this to look like I baked him or her, right? And so I'm just adding this. So with the sponge daubers, it adds color, but it adds just kind of a little speckle. And to me, since these were baked, right, it just kind of gives it a little bit of that browning that we get when we bake a cookie. If you don't know, I love cookies, and so ginger or chocolate chip, I love them all. So we're just gonna go ahead and add that. You can also add a little bit, so you can just take it and kind of sponge just a little throughout, and it just gives it that kind of browning look that you might get on a baked gingerbread. Then we're gonna put a cute little face on it, and so I just loved this winking face. So look how cute that is. Just a little wink, right? And so we'll just put that right in the center there. So we've got our winking ginger girl. Okay, and then let's see. The next thing I did was I grabbed my Wink of Stella, because I wanted it to look like it had a little bit of sugar icing on it, right? So I just took my Wink of Stella glitter brush and went along kind of that outline. You can go along the little icing here. These are really cute. If you emboss them, heat emboss them with white, it looks like little frosting. But I love to just kind of adding that sugary sparkle to those. Okay, so then you could take your Wink of Stella if you wanted to add a little more sugar crystals to it and just give it a little bit of speckling. This to me makes it look just like it's got those sugar crystals on top, just like a ginger would have, right? So I just went ahead and used the cap there to speckle. And do you see the little crystals? So it just looks like some sugar crystals on there, at least to me. Now, I was making these and my husband said, "Ooh, are we gonna make some gingerbread?" Well, I don't know if we'll bake any, but we may buy some, right? They're just so cute and so yummy. So let's take our ginger girl now and let's put this together. So I'm just gonna grab my liquid glue again, and we're just gonna add glue to the back of our ginger girl here. And like I said, we're gonna line up this straight edge right to, oh, it's so cute, right to the edge here of our card. And then once it's right where I want it, then I'm just gonna go ahead and push that down so it is adhered. Isn't that just the cutest? Oh, I love it. All right, so now we're gonna bring in our Stampin' Dimensionals. And I have already taken some snips and kind of cut that edging because I need some real thin ones. And so I'm just gonna take and put one of these thin edge pieces, or if you were to cut one of your dimensionals in half, and we're just gonna add one of each of those right to the back of our words that we fussy cut out. And we're just going to, so what is this? Baking Spirits Bright. So baking will go first. We're just gonna add this right to our pan, our little baking pan. Okay, and this is bright. So let's do spirits first. Baking Spirits Bright. And we'll just put that one next. And then our bright right next to that. So it just kind of fills in our baking sheet there. Now we need to put our bow. So the same thing, you can actually use the full size ones for this and just put one on each of those loops of the bow. You could use your little ones as well. And then this we're just gonna put right as if it was in her hair. Isn't that cute? So cutting that out of that marbled paper, I think makes such a cute bow. Do you see the sugar on there now that it's drying, right? Oh, it's just so cute. Okay, so now we need some peppermints on the front. So let me bring those back in. And I'm gonna use, let's see, the biggest ones for her little peppermint buttons here. And I'm just lining those up kind of in the middle there, just like it would be some candy on her, right? And then I thought, well, it just needs a few little more. So we're gonna put one of the small ones up in her bow. And then we're gonna put a couple more just in our baking pan here. So let's see, we'll do one there, maybe a small one right there, and one more small one up here. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got an odd number, so we're good there. And I think our card is done. What do you think? Do you just love our cute sugary ginger girl winking at us, right? I did forget one thing I gotta show you. And then we've got our inside. Okay, one more quick thing. It's okay, we could have done this before, but I forgot. So I'm gonna take my strawberry slush, and again with the sponge daubers, we're gonna have our strawberry slush sponge dauber, and on her cheeks, we're just gonna add a little bit of sponge daubing to give her some super cute cheeks. I was just looking at my other one going, oh, I forgot that. Love those sponge daubers. So we've got our super cute ginger girls and our super cute inside piece. So I hope you love today's card. Remember, if you are subscribed to my Buzz Bulletin, you will get the step-by-step instructions and the PDF emailed to you today. And you can always find my previous ones on my blog at stampandqueenbee.com. You can also sign up for my email list there as well. And if you are shopping and in the mood to shop for some gingers, you can shop with me and you'll get a freebie from me this week with your $50 or more order. You will get all the pieces to make, all the pre-cut pieces to make 3 of this card. So it's so cute. I love it and I hope you do too. Let me come back and just say thank you so much as always for liking my videos, for subscribing to my channel, for sharing me with your friends. It makes me so happy. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who tune in each week, who share your creations with me. I think that is the most fun part, is when I get to see what you guys are inspired to create. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for another fun card. I think I'm gonna go play with some more gingerbread. They're just so cute. And speaking of cute, and I forgot to show you, so real quick, if you wanted to see a couple of extras, I made kind of just a cute one with a candy cane. We've got a full baking sheet. So see here, I used both of those pieces. And then it's got this super cute hat and scarf and our little peppermints that you could create. So there are just so many fun options. I'm probably going to keep playing and see what else I can create with these fun cards. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.